This is the Mike O'Hearn Show on Generation Iron, and today we are talking about some of the incidents that I talked about last month about what may happen. And then we're going to jump into the Mike O'Hearn cycle. What? What? Mona? Hey, let me take 1 second here to let you guys know that my products, the Titan Crew, are available over at Walmart. You got the pump product, get that focus on the workout, the test booster, bump it naturally, and then the joint support. You gotta keep the joints healthy, that way you can train for a lifetime. I want to take that 1 minute. Let's get back into the podcast. Thanks again. All right, so weeks back, I had the opportunity to talk to Vlad about what was going on in the Liver Kings world and the emails that came out. And in that discussion, I was saying there's a possibility that I thought at that time that some kind of lawsuit or a class action lawsuit would occur. Because from what I understand, again, I'm not the expert here. I didn't really follow him. But his point of view on things was, if you did what he did and trained the way he did and did his supplements, that you would emulate what his creation was. I don't know what another term would that be, is mimic him in a sense, which again, I think for me, I've believed nobody's ever really said that. No two people can be identical when it comes to training, nutrition, and results from either. So that being said, it seems as though it has come to fruition that my suggestion or possibility of something happened is true. And it looks like there is possibly a class action lawsuit. I'll let you experts say if this is true or not. I just read this the other day. That being said, this video and this discussion is more about the interesting response from society on what you can and can't do in health and fitness, I guess you would say. And at any time, I have my crew here too, and they'll interject their point of views on any of this. Sound good, Jeffrey? Serge, sound good? Mona, sound good? Absolutely. Okay. And the reason why I say this is because it's interesting in the health and fitness world. As long as I've known it in my lane, I understood, and the people around me understood, that side laterals, for example, works well for shoulder development. And it does better for some people and does nothing for others. And this is just a metaphor for how fitness is. And so some people will get injured from this exercise. Some people can lift 100-pound side laterals. So it's a very extreme thing, but it's all, again, trial and error, and no two people are alike when it comes to this exercise. But this is something that's understood in health and fitness, and I'm confused on the responses to what the influencers or people that are putting out products today have to do now to make sure that everybody, not just the average Joe, but people without common sense, understand that what's feasible and what's not feasible. And it was interesting too, because I made a point on the last podcast with Vlad about this, is that a disclaimer on products or a disclaimer on your workout programs or nutrition programs. And I'm not sure what that would be. I don't know what the disclaimer would do, because to me, everything, I think, for what these people or the people that are crying about this would want a disclaimer on everything from bubble gum to water to eggs to Stairmaster to ellipticals to squats to hyperextensions. It would be a warning on everything that is possible. And I think at some point you kind of have to use common sense again. Because when I brought up the metaphor or the I guess similarities, one of these YouTubers
not a real fitness guy, just a YouTuber that is got a fan base and is talking. He said, when I made appointment to Vlad, and I said smoking was something that when it first came out, didn't have a disclaimer. And that's something I said, well, I should have a disclaimer. And it did later years, but after lawsuits and forcing them to do so. But the YouTuber said you can't compare protein drinks to cigarettes. And I agree. I think cigarettes is tenfold important to have a disclaimer, where you have no common sense if you need a disclaimer on a protein drink. And that's going to offend some people, but stay with me for a second, because that particular YouTuber continued on in his story and stated that I myself have to put disclaimers because of my size, my height, the way I look, which is interesting, where my two training partners, if had products, which one of them, Robbie Robinson, does not have to put disclaimers on their products. So it was solely on my visual. Stay with me for a second, because of the fact that, wait a minute, so you're saying that I shouldn't have brought up cigarettes in a disclaimer, and I should have a disclaimer on my protein drinks or any of my products because of the visual look of me. So I'm thrown. I'm like, wait a minute, you completely lost me. I thought the disclaimer wouldn't be about the Marlboro man having a cigarette, picking up hot girls, riding a horse, looking like a stud. That's what you're implying, that if there was a disclaimer on it, that's what it would be. It wouldn't be about the cancer or the harm it causes. Because you jump forward to me and my protein drink, you're stating that I need to put a disclaimer because you're not going to look like me. You're not going to be strong like me. I thought it was about the individual having the protein drink, and it possibly could help you put muscle on. I thought that's what it would be about. So I'm completely lost. Maybe they or you all can kind of fine tune that for me and answer that for me, because that one lost me. I don't know if you picked up on that, Jeffrey, because the disclaimer, it wasn't so much about the product. It's the product that would make me look like me. And how would the cigarettes make you be able to pick up girls? It goes back to the early years of promotions, Coke and a smile. Well, just because you have a Coke doesn't mean you're going to have a smile. So do they have to put a disclaimer? You're not going to dance with your friends on a commercial? I think it's pretty obvious. It was pretty good drink. It tastes good. And I don't know, you could smile or not smile, but you don't need a disclaimer for that. You do need a disclaimer if something's going to cause cancer or hurt you. But waking up an over 6 foot looking like me, being my strength, I don't think anybody needs a disclaimer to say that's not going to happen.
Facts. You are a 6 foot muscular white male.
Step aside, please. We have white privilege.
You automatically have power in the world. If you're 6 foot and good looking, you're a more dominant presence. So it is your obligation to be upfront and transparent.
And the reason I say that is because obviously this guy he's very irritated, but he's more irritated with the individual, that he's a victim mentality, as Doc always says, or Robbie Robinson always says. This guy's just a victim mentality kind of guy, and he's just going to complain because he just doesn't like me, which is fine. I don't mind that. You don't need to like me. But the benefits from supplementation, the benefits from sleeping right, the disclaimer on a immune product, just because you take an immune product doesn't mean you're not going to get possibly COVID or get a flu or get sick. But again, I think that's really common sense. And you're actually trying to baby us down by saying every single thing needs a disclaimer on what it can and can't do. Vitamin C, it's good for your immune system, but you still may get sick. Well, I mean, that's kind of obvious. And so with that being said, one of the funniest things I saw going into 2023 was a reel that was done. And I might have to jump before that, because I did talk to Derek, who took second at the Mr. Olympia. And I was talking about the old school compared to the new school. And I said, well, it was harder back in the old school. And he felt that it was harder then, but there's different hardships now. And I gave that a lot of thought. And the one thing that I keep coming back to is back in the day, there was a credibility or there was individuals that were giving information when it came to health and fitness and nutrition. And they all came to that same final, I guess, finish line where it is consistency, doing it right, nutrition, recovering, and then add into its, supplementation or whatever you want to help you get a little bit better. But it always started with nutrition. And for some reason that's changed into today's world, where today seems to be, well, it doesn't matter what you do as long as you just jump on the juice, you're golden, you don't have to train as hard, you don't have to recover as well. And that's just not how it works. But we kind of know that as people that have been in the health and fitness, we know that you don't get to keep everything you put on with chemicals that are outside your body. And when you do think that, I'm thinking you're setting yourself up for a rude awakening. But with enough information out there that is out today on individuals that is doing this and taking stuff, I think they're doing a great job. I think somebody like Transcend, I think he gives you guys a lot of great information on what's feasible and what's not feasible. But it goes back to the very beginning that just because you do something doesn't mean you're going to get the results of another individual. It doesn't. There's so many people that take loads of stuff and they still can't turn pro. It's because not two people are alike. And so I wish you guys would stop running to, hey, it's this. Hey, it's a trick. Hey, it's the quick fix. There's no quick fix in health and fitness. It really is just time and the very best of your ability each day that you can go in, and not taking the days off in the sense of when you don't feel like going in. And it really starts in the kitchen. I want to take a second from my show to say thank you to one of our sponsors, Transcend. This is the health and wellness company that my family has chosen to work with. They get your blood work done so you understand what is going on inside. We might look good on the outside, but you never know what's going on. So that's who I'm recommending for you guys out there. Get on over to Transcend. Get your blood work done today. Make sure you're healthy and stay in the game. Jeffrey did something. He's got some extra footage. And it's, I guess, what I've been saying. And I've been saying this since the 80s. And so I'll let this video speak for itself. But this is stuff that's been in print. It's been in the magazines, from Muscle and Fitness to Iron Man to a plethora of others worldwide back in the 90s on my beliefs. 90s, 2000. I'm just giving you when it started on my take on health and fitness.
Best way I can say this is supplements are supplementations. They help if everything else is going right. So I will never be the first to say, take the supplements, nothing else. You're golden, And I'm also the guy that says, if you're not going to eat right, I say don't work out, because then you're just destroying your body. I'm the guy that has, and it's in print since the 80s, said nutrition first and foremost, add in smart training, not consistency of training bad, smart training, and then on top of that, add in the supplementation, and everything after eating right is maybe a small percentage. But what separates the majority of greats from the next grade is a small percentage. Phil Heath says it on podcasts. I had James Maslow say it. Frank Carrillo said it. Max Martini has said it. Everybody I speak to, it gets to that point, like Rich Gaspari said. I said to him, why the lotion? He and I are the only ones that really did it since teenagers. And he said, because it gives me 10% better. And I said, what happens if it's just 1%? He goes, 1% separates first from second. And that's just my mind approach. That's who I am. So when I tell you guys, train this way, so in 20 years you can still train, it might be a small percentage right now. And it might even take you back a little bit because you lose some strength because you're trying to fix the form. But trust me when I say this, the long game outweighs everything. Trust me. You can go talk to the guys that were here with me in the 70s and 80s, in the 90s, 2000. They will tell you A slow process is better than the guy that hits to the ceiling and burns out by 25. You got a long life, man, and health and fitness is supposed to help you, not hurt you. Let me say it again. Health and fitness is to help you, not hurt you. Do it right. Let's bring this brotherhood back. We're all iron warriors. We all go through the dieting and training. Support each other. Stop breaking each other down. I'm going to be real and just say what I said in the 80s. Be consistent, be smart, be kind. Don't worry, there's no haters. There's just average people that don't like you. They don't like themselves. So don't worry about them. Enjoy the day.
Now, with that being said, fully understandable that if somebody doesn't read one of my articles because they don't do the research or don't want to do the research or the beliefs or don't follow my principles of how I train, then they're allowed to say anything they want to say, which actually is interesting because I would think you would want to do some kind of research if you're going to speak about somebody, especially if you're just a YouTuber trying to make a name for yourself, because then anybody can just go, well, that's not his beliefs. This is how he believes. This is how he's trained. And this is how he's been able to train for 45 years. That being said, most guys won't do that. They'll just go off of what they've seen and then make up their own scenario, which is cool to do. You got to admit this. In today's world, you can just take anybody's video and then cut it the way that you want it to look. So his take on that is because of my height, looks, all those color. Yeah, that's a harsh one. All these kind of things, I have to do over and above what any other human has to do. And I have to go over and above my two training partners, but Robbie Robinson being like the only man that I've known that's done what he's done, doesn't have to do what I do because of this guy's point of view. Again, I don't think Robbie has to do it either. I think Robbie said it enough and but in print enough that it goes back to proper training, the nutrition, and everything else is secondary and may help a little bit. And again, the results that Robbie gets, I'm trying to mimic that. Doesn't mean I'm going to wake up tomorrow and be Robbie. Doesn't guarantee that I'm going to wake up in 30 years and still be training as well as Robbie. I hope to gosh I am. And I guess hope is the big one. I hope I can do what Robbie's done. Am I going to mimic what he does? Yeah. Am I going to get mad at him if I don't get the same results? I'm not, but I got enough common sense to understand that I'm not going to be this angry person that thinks, no, you better say all this stuff, because then I don't know what then. I don't know what you get from me saying something, me doing something, me getting up and training, me lifting, me taking my supplementation doesn't change your outcome, does nothing for your outcome. It does set me up to be ahead of you because you're the one that's spending time during the day complaining about your outcome. And that's what this comes down to, which is so funny that we have this society that goes, hey, Mike, just be honest and tell everybody you're on stuff. Well, wait a minute, I'm just confused. Why would that be honest? Wouldn't it be honest for me to say, well, I was tested in my teenage years competing. I was tested in my 20s. I was tested in my 30s. Then I retired from powerlifting and bodybuilding, where I competed in both federations. And in my early years, I couldn't talk about both federations because of the fact that Joe Weider didn't want me talking about the one federation, which didn't bother me. I didn't need to talk about it. It was a decision I made to go the way I went because I wanted to be able to do this for a lifetime. Now, that being said, I even went over and above on getting tested because you can't do shows like Gladiators and where they're game shows and be on stuff like that. And so, again, got tested through those years. And so getting tested in my teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, all those years doesn't matter to you guys. No. You must have been off. You must have snuck it in. You must have done this. It's interesting because of the fact that I did do that. And it's been 40 years. And I'm still here today, where unfortunately some people like Dingleberry or The Hobbit did one show and got busted. It's like, it's an interesting thing that you guys think, I must be. I love the credit you guys are giving me. I love the credit you guys are saying. I'm just so good at this stuff that I could keep it hidden for almost 5 decades. That's cool. I love that stuff. I wish I was that smart, but it's not me. So That being said, here is my belief, and it goes back to hope. When I heard that Mike Ashley was natural, I hoped it was, but I also had a secondary hope, and that was even if he's not, I don't care. I'm going to do this career the way I want to do this career, regardless of what he is or isn't, because he was tested and came up clean. Where Sean Ray got busted for being on stuff when they were supposed to be all off of everything. So that being said, it kind of gave me that little bit of hope, which I like. The first time as a teenager meeting Bull Stewart, for you elite lifters and those guys that know the history of the game, this man is an animal. Just, he was incredible. And I always called him like the Black Hercules, because besides being beautiful body as a power lifter, he was untouchable. He was like a god to me. And so when I heard that he was again clean, I didn't care one way or another. I just liked the idea that that's a possibility. And I had the hope. And so here's a funny video. Now, this video was done years ago for a documentary. Now, even though this was just years ago for a documentary, the belief was from 40 years ago. Oh, it was longer than that, even. It's longer than 40 years ago. But it was my belief on what supplementation would do for me and how I believed I looked at it.
I think what was smart about Joe Weider and the way he marketed his products was he got the very best. He got Arnold Schwarzenegger. And for me, differently than everybody else. Everybody else says Arnold had the greatest body in the world ever. It was who he was as a person and a character and the dream he was living. I wanted that. And if buying the weight gainer drink gave me a bit of what Arnold was and what Weider has created, then I'm purchasing that. And that's what it got me. I'd say for my body, you know, obviously it's calories, so it helped me put on some size. But what it did is something so much better. It mentally made me believe in a dream and made me believe in something bigger than myself. It made me have a piece of Arnold and Frank Zane that was representing the product, and it made me think I could be like that. I can remember the ad, actually. It was Arnold standing there just next to the weight gainer drink, but it was everything Arnold has done up to that point. So seeing Arnold next to the product, it sold me, because I was already a fan of Arnold and what he was doing, and then Weider putting him next to it, that's an easy sale. I was a teenager, I was like, I want that.
So there again, there is a prepubescent kid with hopes and dreams of becoming something or being a part of something. And I looked at that whole belief of Arnold, of Frank Zane, of these guys that I looked at that were these gods to me, these guys that I want to mimic. But at no point did I look at the weight gainer and said, it's going to make me Arnold. It's going to make me this. It just gave me hopes and dreams. And that's one of the things that's weird, that I was at that age going with the positive look at this relative to what you guys do and go to the negative look at this. You don't know me. None of you do. You know, there's a small crew of people that actually know me and have been in this road with me through this journey. And so your beliefs on what chemicals do for you or what supplementations do for you is so different than my belief on what it does for you. Could I have jumped on it when I was a youngster because I wanted to? Man, if you think you look at me and go, I'm against the stuff, I'm not. Absolutely not. It's a miracle stuff. And when I had my discussion, and this is again been talked about nauseously, when I had my talk with Joe Weider and he told me what he thought, his point of view on my career, and it set me up to go, wait a minute. My goal from the get-go was to be able to do this for a lifetime. A lifetime. And so I will take the approach of trying to do this the healthiest possible way I possibly can. Am I strong? I'm not bodybuilding strong. I'm champion powerlifter strong. And I have been since I was 15 years old. Am I a muscular guy? Well, heck yeah. You train for good 10 years and stay on a nutrition plan, you're going to be muscular. Now add on to that 4 decades of more training in nutrition. I get that. I've been able to do what I wanted to do. Be healthy, be athletic, have great range of motion, and have a pleasing physique throughout my life and be able to have fun lifting. Some of the things that you guys may miss, even though it's right in front of you, is that you see me doing behind the neck press with 315. But what you missed was that I was doing that at 19 years old, and I'm still doing it today. So you see the weight. Oh, 315. It's not the weight. It's most people after 30, 35 years old can't even do behind the neck press, can't even take a broomstick behind their back. But I'm doing something that, again, was the game plan from the beginning. And that's just being healthy and being able to do this. So your belief on me going to the gym to get muscular or really strong, my main goal, and I wish it would be more people's, is to stay healthy, to be able to train and get the side effects of training, a stronger mind, that meditation that keeps that, maybe if you're a little aggressive like me, a little bit more calmer outside of the gym. But it gives you that warrior mentality in the gym so you can be a little bit more peaceful outside of the gym. But it also makes life harder because you make your workouts harder, makes life easier. You guys know all this stuff, but this stuff we talked about this 30 years ago, and it's still true to today. So regardless of who you are and your beliefs, try to focus on what you want to do. And again, like everything that was said today, they can take it and they can turn it any way they want. The facts are this: I'm still being able to do what I love to do, and that's workout. I'm still being able to do it in a range of motion that most 25-year-olds can't do anymore. And I'm being able to move weights, not strong weights, again, powerlifting championship weights. And that's really, really fun for me. So for you guys out there, when it comes to your anger at the Liver King doing what he did, or your belief on what I should say, yeah, I don't think you guys should get so wound up in what others are doing and what they're doing. It goes back to this final video, and it shows you the mindset of a champion. It shows you the mindset of what he cares about, because he knows how precious life is and what's truly important. And here we go. Watch this one. Little Frank Zane for you.
Popular guy, Michael Hearn, has been here training with me. He's publicized some stuff, and he's probably could be the next big thing in bodybuilding if he chooses to do so.
Michael Hearn. Oh yeah, I've seen him, but he's like an interesting thing about these bodybuilders, competing in their 40s and 50s. And in your era, that's like over the hill. Forget it. It was more like 20s and 30s.
Well, he's 53.
Yeah.
He's right on top of the world. He's I think 275 pounds. He's 6'2". He's huge.
Yes.
He's in great shape.
Do you think he's all natural?
I don't know. I don't ask people that question. That's their own personal business.
Yeah.
But it's none of my business. I don't care if what they do is what they do.
What's funny now is a lot of people did see that Frank Zane thing before, and they go right back to it. You miss the whole point of what Frank doesn't care. And you guys shouldn't care if somebody is richer than you, if the guy has millions, how he got his millions. None of that stuff helps you guys. None of it does. It really just, you have to do your work daily, keep doing what you love, and you'll get the very best results of who you are. Unfortunately, again, we're going to have the other half of this going, yeah, but you're telling people that you can be like me. I never said it. Never will. You can't be. I recommend go get on a whole bunch of shit and I'll see you in a year. There's my disclaimer. Go get on the stuff. Come back and do tricep extensions with me in a year after being on stuff. Let's see how your elbows feel. It doesn't work that way. And you guys got to stop doing that. Now, with that being said, again, I believe health is the most important thing. And we will finish this video on this. You all should get blood work done. It's a new year. We're going into this new era. And you should get your blood work done, not just for the T levels. It's for the thyroid. It's for everything. It's for your cholesterol. It is for you guys to be healthy for, again, a lifetime. If you love this stuff, I bleed lifting. I bleed this regimen of staying on a plan. I've only met one guy like Robbie Robinson that believes this stuff or bleeds this stuff as much as I have in this long journey. And so the one thing that he and I will do is always make sure the inside matches the outside the best it can. So get your blood work done. Transcend is working with everybody, and it has been an overload for girls and guys to go get their blood work in to see where they're at. And again, this is all ages. I just had a nice 26-year-old kid that visually looks like an animal get his blood work done, and the numbers came back concerning. And then Clark Bartram did it for me as well. And he's a 60-year-old man that comes back and his numbers are beautiful. So that's it. That's it for today. For you guys that love this stuff, go enjoy it. Do what you can. Remember, do everything you can possibly to do this in a healthy way. You guys asked for drug tests, but I've done drug tests throughout my entire competition careers and television. Whoa, that's crazy, but those don't matter, right? Who cares about those? We just want about now. Well, we just did one now with Transcend, but wait a minute. Was I off it? See, that's the kind of stuff you guys are going to continue to do and always do. This is the point of the whole video here. You're going to keep griping about shit. You really are. And it doesn't matter what Rock is doing or isn't doing. He's living his life and enjoying it. Same thing for me. If you guys want to believe I'm on, tons of trend, all of it. Go out, join it. Use my code over at Transcend. Tell them I sent you. And if you want to go the other route and go and look at my career of competing and how I've lived, there's another aspect to it. It's up to you. Really, this comes down to, I had hope as a kid and I went the one angle. You guys want to go that angle? Great. You want to go the other angle? That's fine. Take this video, chop it up any way you guys want to. At the end of the day, you're basically talking about a grandfather. I'm basically your grandfather's age, still doing this stuff, still stronger than you. And doing a couple movies right now that I'm playing a 30-year-old. So whatever there is that I am doing, there is some benefit from that. And it's me looking at Robbie Robinson. Every day I am grateful that I get to go up and talk to that man. That man has 30 more years on me of this stuff. And I want to suck up any knowledge he can. And that's the reason I'm here. If you guys want to get the knowledge, cool. If you want to gripe and yell and cry about it, you're basically a dude crying on another dude's page. Enjoy your life, man. That's pretty lame. I'm out.